but just what's been on my mind, and it's kind of been on my mind for a while now, is how I have all these plans and gifts and talents and so many things that I would like to bring forward and that I am going to bring forward. However, I'm always being attacked for that very reason. I'm always receiving crown attacks and solar plexus, and I noticed the blockages in my spiritual, uh, like even now, how I'm pausing through my words and stuff like that. This is not me. Like, I'm a very verbally expressive person. Like, I'm literally a Taurus. My Mercury is in Taurus, so just double that. And, I also sing. So the attacks are definitely going to be aimed at my intellect as well as my throat chakra. And it's so crazy because even though I could say that, technically, my heart chakra as well. Because whenever I'm put in the mood where my feelings are hurt, or that feeling of rejection, it can create a muffler. Like, when it's like it creates, is it called a muzzle? It just kind of makes you feel constricted, like something is literally holding on or draining from your creativity. And I've been kind of brushing it off because, I was back in school, which is over literally in a few days now, and I was working at the same time. And so I kind of just pushed it back. Here and there, I would sit and I would, write and stuff like that. But as far as it like really coming out, I will always find myself, freezing. I wonder if when you share the information of what your gifts and talents and inventions and plans and stuff are, regardless of what people look like on the outside and appearing as human, we're still susceptible to entities and demonic energies. And you really don't know what's attached to people whenever you guys are making exchanges like they're getting to know each other face. You never know what type of entities are attached to that person, or if that person was like put in your vicinity, I guess, just for you to fall for the bait. So just really thinking about it. And my thing is too, I get caught up in wanting, the general pleasures of life like anyone, wanting a real, genuine, sincere relationship and family, commitment and stuff like that. But because of my journey and my path and what I'm meant to do, it's like my life, I have to live my life very differently. I have to experience things very differently, that I don't become a conformist or compliant, that I don't merge with things that we're really not supposed to continue embracing as far as consciousness. I'm supposed to kind of be a rebel and outcast, and I understand that, but it's very challenging. It's very challenging, and it gets, very lonesome. And I know that my strength is going to have to come from me finding comfort in my loneliness. And I honestly thought I had that because of the simple fact that I am the youngest of my siblings, and a lot of time I had to spend, you know, growing up was alone and without them, because they were at least, like more than 6 years older than me and up. So I could definitely see, like, my entire life was structured around me having to stand alone. And I know what's really going to be a part of my breakthrough is for me to find the comfort and truly accept that. But understanding that even though I find the comfort in it and I accept it, it's still temporal. The only reason that those things that I desire as far as a family have not manifested for me is because I become immersed in whatever, I am, as far as like high um high impulse, like, or it's like very intense and impactful. It's like I become immersed in that, and love can be very intense and impactful and very distracting. And unfortunately, if I'm immersed in one thing, I'm not really focused on my purpose of being here in this upon earth and everything. So I'm learning more and more about why my life went the way that it did. And even though we will always, have experiences that we're not very fond of, but the true test is to grow stronger within your emotional stability and strength and your emotional intelligence so that you're able to interject like the pain, like you're you're able to better handle it over time because of that strength and that resilience and stuff like that. Now there's a difference between doing what I just said and becoming cold-hearted as a result, and that's what you want to avoid. So that's why I said it's challenging, because it's like you could fall in either side of it, negatively. You could become, numb and cold, and you just completely remove yourself from the concept or the idea of love. And you can't do that because it's where you fail, and that's completely against the essence of existence, and life itself, because life is love. God is love. I find myself encountering or having interactions with people who are trying to tell me who I am, who challenge who I am, and who I see myself as, who I believe myself to be. Encountering individuals doing things that I said I would do, that I set out to do. Seeing things that need to be implemented and being brought back to a previous idea, a download, or something that I had that could potentially fix what that particular issue was or is. And just constantly receiving reminders of how there's so much more I could be doing. And regardless of, being gentle with myself and, you know, giving myself the next day, the next week, the next month to do what I say so faithfully that I do and that I love to do and where my passion is. It's very hypocritical in a sense. And it's depressing as a result. It can definitely be depressing. But see, it's not easy. It's just not easy for me. I've started a book, it was so long, it was so much information and quality and just so much. And out of nowhere one day, because 2019 was just so drastic for me, you almost think it was my Saturn return. And I'm only 24. But one morning, my book was just completely wiped off my computer. Everything that I had on my laptop was just completely wiped off, photos and everything. And when things like that happen, it can just, become very discouraging. However, regardless of the detours, I know that my strength really, really is emphasized whenever I get right back up and continue forward. Unfortunately and fortunately, that is how my life has been structured. I'm always battling principalities. And I want to, it's like I'm kind of coming into tears right now because, like I said, it's challenging. However, it's worth it. It's like having a very intense workout, but after after it's all said and done, you feel better overall. Your breathing is better. Because your heart is pumping more blood. So generally, you're getting more blood pumped throughout your body because whenever you're fit, it naturally speeds up your heart rate, your metabolism. And so there's benefits. There's long-term benefits from those temporary not so pleasant moments, basically. And so I understand that. With that being said, I've strayed away from understanding that I'm a magician. Not totally strayed away from it, like, I turn my back. It's just I allow what things appear to, or what's right in front of me at that moment. I allow myself to get kind of consumed in that or affect me so much so to the point that I kind of just clock out from the entire situation, and my mind is unable to focus when what I'm supposed to do is transmute that energy into music, into my books, into a video, that will help other people who experience what I experienced understand that they're not alone. Speaking of detours, even with school, whenever I really got into college and stuff like that, I've always been a very good student. I've always been a very intellectual, bright individual. But whenever my grades will fuck up, it was always because some outside energetic force was present in my life. Whether that was, a, a demonic sexual entity or energy or force, some type of draining force to traumatize me and deter me from my purpose and my destiny. I know how powerful I am because of the frequency of the attacks, as well as the intensity of those attacks, as well as the karma for those people who facilitate those attacks. So, and there's been a few times I looked up at the time and I've seen 11:11 and I've just now seen 14:14. Like anybody, we all get caught up in the social media world of perfection in regards to appearance, your material wealth. And I will always feel, like I just don't belong here in this world because social media platforms is literally like entering portals, entering worlds. And I'm like a distant stranger when I'm there. can't stick around too long. Don't feel safe. So, but I'm grateful regardless, because I've never had the mindset that I want to be like other people. Do I want to be independent, have stability, experience love around me, have the opportunity to contribute to the frequency of love and, raising consciousness? Yes, absolutely. But my mind being controlled by an energy who tells me I'm not beautiful enough, that I need to do this to myself in order for me to be considered marriage material, or, I have to be this thick, this light, this dark, this small. My teeth has to be this straight. I don't have straight teeth at all. And you know what's so ironic about it? And that's why, like, I still love life, and definitely love my life, because it made me so strong. My life made me so strong. Without even realizing that, I made myself so strong by inflicting some things upon myself as a response to the stimuli around me. So, with my teeth or whatever, and with me being a singer and a rapper and definitely a sociable person when need be, I kind of naturally have that leader, ish energy about me. And that's from other people saying that, not so much me, but me being told that. With that being said, a lot of attention is going to be here. And so that's like one other challenge of something I had to overcome. And that shouldn't even be a challenge. So why is it a challenge? And it's because of how our society is, and the value that we place on physical appearance, and the stigmas or expectations. And the fact of the matter is, this is this is what it is. Like, this is what I look like, right now. And like I said, this stuff started for me very, very young. They didn't waste any time with me, because they knew how powerful. Those entities knew how powerful I was. And there's been a few times where the story of Job was referenced to me. And I know that that's what I went through. I went through a moment where I feel like everything was stripped away from me. Unfairly. And Job was a very faithful servant, beautiful person. And lost everything. Family and friends turned on him. And demonic and dark energy tried to convince him to deny his faith, because become consumed in placing his value in material things and in people and places. All along, regardless of what he lost, he always had it. Because he had his heart. He had his soul. He had his strength. He had his vision, you know. So strong. And humble and meek. He wasn't a pushover either. When those friends, you know, was making those passive, you know, remarks, he was definitely not a pushover. He seen it for what it was and he addressed it. And, you know, he acknowledged that just because I have my moments of weakness where I need to express these emotions, understanding that we're human as well, we have a range of emotions for a reason. And emotions in itself is energy and motion, and emotions only adds and amplifies our manifestations. And that's why transmutation is so beautiful. That's why it's so beautiful. And it will benefit us greatly not to stray away from it in our hardest times, our hardest moments and challenges. Because it's not hard after all. Yes, it's challenging, and it may stir up certain feelings within yourself or emotions that you may not necessarily want to experience. But look at it. Take it as an opportunity to see the depths of yourself, how deep your emotions go, how deep you can go, how powerful your manifestations can be. And that's something I had to remind myself. It's not enough for me to be able to be that person to, you know, say what needs to be said for someone at that time. And then, you know, whatever, I need to sit down and say this for my videos, you know, or for myself or my music and stuff like that. And I'm just not able to. Like, I'm blocked. It's a problem. It's problematic. I don't know whether I want people closely associated with me or not anymore. I've tried to have that. I always wanted that. I'm a Taurus, for goodness sake. I'm a fucking Taurus and an Aries. I'm a cusp of power. And I've had some very strong, that's the thing about my friendships. All my friendships that like were really solid, they were strong. And when they ended, it ended strongly as well. So, and I get in my moods, I have my moments of it's like I want, you know, I want to create bonds and stuff and meet new people and just have that social interaction, you know, outside of work or school and stuff. And then when I see how I stand out so much, it's like I'm ready to kind of like just get back into my corner and just be by myself. And that's why I said, you know, I have to, it's not that I haven't found comfort in being alone. The thing is maintaining that comfort and using it to my benefit. This time, I have no kids. I'm single. You know, I have no real, you know, real obligations as, you know, besides my destiny and my purpose here. Besides that, which brings me to why this entire video or whatever is as important as it is. Western culture has bestowed some things upon us that technically we need to pursue and achieve in order to really be able to be of necessity to life itself or be able to do anything for anybody. Like you need a fucking piece of paper or a degree or, stuff like that. And even though that's how there were, this 3D world is structured and stuff like that, that's not really why we're here, and that's not really what we're supposed to be putting all our focus and dedication in. You're supposed to put your focus into your purpose and your destiny, period. And we make time. We call ourselves, or originally we look at it like we're just doing this for the time being, like the 3D shit. But then it consumes your time and your energy. And then there's none left for what you're really supposed to be focusing on. At least speaking for myself. And then I find that being associated with certain energies or groups or organizations and stuff like that, it does affect my ability to like flow energetically how I'm supposed to. And I'm not here to even blame it on people or other things. Like I'm totally accountable, of the actions that I took and did not take that affected, who I am right now or why things are kind of moving slower than I intended. And for me, I know that it's a situation of the first will be last and the last will be first. But, that's all I wanted to say for now. I just wanted to share that because I know I'm not alone. I know for a fact I'm not alone. But on that note, I will definitely, I'm definitely going to be focusing a lot more on my music and my books and really allowing myself to shine as I am and no longer restricting or constricting myself because of other people's insecurities, projected insecurities, self-perceived fears, People gonna either love you or hate you. And the thing is, I've already encountered unpleasantness, from humankind, regardless of how much of a humanitarian I am. And that's what's discouraging a lot of times too, because I am such a humanitarian. I love kids, I love people, I love love. I love love. That's the thing, though. That's the thing. That's the difference. I love love. And when love is lacking or absent, I cannot remain there. I cannot remain in a situation, and it's hard to have to, say goodbye to something that could have been, potentially something good. But unfortunately, we all have to get to that place, like within ourselves, so that we can truly unlock that authentic love and contribute to the consciousness, raising consciousness. And whenever it's just you and the other person isn't there, what's going to happen? Somebody's going to end up being drained or just pulling too much from the other. And unfortunately, I've been in friendships and relationships like that where I have no choice but to walk away. I'm a Taurus. Taurus are very loyal. I've, lived a life where I remained in situations longer than I was supposed to. And I had to learn the hard way. And so now I'm at a place that I don't stay there as long as I used to at all, but it's still hard. The thing is, the hurt doesn't last as long as it did when I was in the situation longer, and that's the beauty of it. That's something that I'm able to recognize and acknowledge. My even in my pain, I'm able to acknowledge the purpose of it, the beauty, the substance, what came out of it, why it had to happen, and why it was necessary, and why I can appreciate it. It's all a part of the making of who I am, a phenomenal woman. I love y'all. This is Kritek. I'll see y'all later.